Hi, thanks for checking out our video. I'm Tristan, I'm a Group 5 member, and today we will be taking a look at the topic of hazards of the web. More specifically, this topic will be pertaining to the opportunities and risks that children and adolescents face in this technologically advanced society that we live in. So the objectives for today are the roles of digital skills, the bias towards gender and age, parental mediation, and what steps should be taken to secure your computer system at home. All right, let's jump right into our first objective, the role of digital skills. So digital skills refer to the knowledge and application methods associated to digital systems. They may be used in tools and digital applications on your computer or any kind of device. Digital skills have played a vital role in the development of persons within the workplace and professional environment, but has not been prioritized in children and adolescents. Children and adolescents use the internet blindly every day without knowing the consequences of their actions. These actions are unknown because of the lack of proper internet safety and etiquette training by parents and educational institutions alike. Without this digital competency, children fall victim to acts of cyberbullying, hackers, spyware, worms, viruses, and identity theft. Some of the digital platforms that children and adolescents use on a regular basis are social media such as Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, chat websites such as Omegle, online communities like Reddit, and use of productivity tools and applications for educational purposes. The roles of digital skills can be broken down into various characteristics. These characteristics include identity, rights, literacy, communication, emotional intelligence, security, safety, and use. So let's take a look at these different characteristics. Digital skills can be broken down into various categories. These categories include usage. This applies to the use of digital skills for the benefit of learning and development of children and adolescents, along with the ability to maintain a healthy off-screen lifestyle. Identity. Persons below the age of 19 may be susceptible to the trends of social media, but proper management of an online lifestyle is necessary. Lack of this management may cause problems in someone's personal and online lifestyle. Third characteristic, safety. There are many risks that someone faces by just doing simple web searches. Children and adolescents should be monitored on the content they view online to ensure that they are safe from threats and negative content. The fourth characteristic, security. Online, there are many forms in which websites, persons, and software obtain vital information from users, which is then collected and sold to companies. This information may be derived from children and adolescents alike, especially if they are not taught the proper practices in order to protect themselves and their information. Our fifth category is ethics. Even though to some, online respect may be a given, but the fact of the matter is that scams and online fraud occur in the world we live in today. Children and adolescents may fall as a source for poor online ethics. This demographic may not fall only to scamming persons online for personal information, money, and even physical data, but another aspect that many forget about is respect for others online. This may be breached with the simple acts of cyberbullying. And in today's environment, we see that a lot, not only with children and adolescents, but with persons in general, where they post without knowing the effects of their actions, and this has a negative view of social media on a whole. Our sixth category is discernment. They should be taught on how to evaluate online sources, news, data, and even social media pages for credibility. Social media pages as well as web pages may not be authorized or factual on the content uploaded. Children and adolescents will have to learn proper domain names and the meanings as well as web protocols and the observations of what we consider sketchy pages. Our last category is communication. Even though communicating with others online via instant messaging applications or email may be convenient, there are other ways to talk to someone. Children and adolescents should be exposed to the traditional communication methods, which not only build their character but allow them to not be disconnected from the real world. So those were the different categories of digital skills. Those digital skills, when used in the appropriate configuration, allows for various skills that are beneficial for future development and literacy of children and adolescents alike. Some of these benefits are being able to express themselves in a form that could not be expressed with traditional tools or skills. In this way, children can get a learning experience with the use of technology and be able to express themselves freely in different forms. For example, graphic designing, where technology has been used in graphic designing to portray a more lifelike design, and children can use this to gain a better understanding of how to use the technology and express themselves in whatever way or form they feel too. Another benefit is that it allows children to get a good grasp of how technology works and gives a good basis of how to perform technological tasks. In this day and age of technology, most programs and applications are similar in layout, so by learning these digital skills, some children are able to jump on and use a new program and be able to figure out the ins and outs of that program without the need for help or tutorial. The third benefit is that technology is here to stay, and a proper way of ensuring that children are up to date on the increasing development of technology is to teach them digital skills. Their future in any aspect of their life, when it comes to stuff like jobs, education, and personal life, technology will be the forefront of each. Our second objective is gender. It was found that there has been a shift in the internet demographic such that the user population is becoming increasingly closer to having an even mixture of males and females, as opposed to the early beginnings of the internet, which was male dominated. However, it is clear that their respective use of the internet varies significantly. Let's take a look. In the case of females, females mainly use the computer for maintaining and building relationships and for the interaction with friends. In this way, they are more likely to become victims of cybercrimes ranging from unwanted contact and trolling to sexual harassment and threats of rape and death. Studies also show that females spend a significant amount of time doing online shopping, which again makes them susceptible to fraudulent crimes. Males typically utilize the internet for online multiplayer games and to briefly search for information. It has been argued that males are less susceptible to cybercrimes because they are more educated on the different components of the computer system and the risks attached to it. Now let's take a look at my other group members and their different objectives looked at.
When we are addressing an issue such as opportunities and risks concerned with the web, there are a few factors to consider, one of which is age. Unfortunately, children and adolescents are particularly at risk for cyber attacks, one being cyberbullying. 1 in every 3 young people in 30 countries have said they have been victims of online bullying, with 1 in 5 reporting having skipped school due to cyberbullying and violence. Of children experiencing a mental health problem, over a whopping 2/3 of them have experienced cyberbullying at least in the last year. Another form of cyber attacks are cyber predators. In 100% of the cases, teens that were victims of sexual predators have willingly gone to see them. There are 799,041 registered sex offenders in the United States as of 2015 statistics. 1 in 5 US teens who regularly log into the internet have received unwanted sexual solicitation via the web. Solicitation were defined as requests to engage in sexual activities or sexual talk, or to give out personal sexual information. Unfortunately, only a quarter of those victims told their parents. 77% of the targets for online predators were aged 14 or older. Another 22% were users aged 10 to 13 years of age. Posting private information online. 75% of children are willing to share personal information online about themselves and their family in exchange for goods and services. Phishing. Though phishing is more commonly used to target high-profile individuals and companies, it can also be used on unsuspecting and naive adolescents and teens worldwide. Spam is 45% of all emails sent. About 14.5 billion spam emails are sent every day. In 2017, spear phishing emails were the most widely used infection method, employed by 71% of hacker groups which carried out cyber attacks. Accidentally downloading malware. Malware can present itself in many forms, such as viruses, Trojan horses, worms, adware, ransomware, and spyware. All forms of malware are designed to compromise the safety of your device and the data that you store onto them. It often happens when you download content from unknown or untrustworthy sources, which can occur when kids download games, movies, or even things such as wallpapers from unsecured sources. This allows cyber criminals to access your personal data and in some cases use this data to commit identity theft. Posts that come back to haunt child later in their life. In 27% of exploitation incidents, predators ask kids for sexual photographs of themselves. These photographs can be sold or even released to the public to tarnish a child's reputation. Parental mediation. Though it is seen on the agenda that girls are more susceptible to becoming victims to online threats, it does not mean that parents should neglect their responsibility to educate their sons about the hazards that exist. Besides making your children aware of the dangers that can arise from the misuse of the web, it is crucial for parents to observe the behaviors and characteristics of their child while they are using the web, because you never know, unfortunately, your child can be a bully or a predator themselves. Parents can monitor their children's activities on the computer by putting it in open areas, such as the living room, or sharing common passwords and usernames. These things can discourage your children from doing things that they are not supposed to do. Parents can block sketchy websites or ones which are inappropriate by limiting certain activities. You can limit your child's harmful curiosity and put them far away from harm's reach. Parents can ensure that their children's computer is protected with safe and reliable firewalls, antiviruses, and anti-phishing software.
What steps should you take to secure your computer system at home? Threats to the computer system may come in the form of viruses, malware, spyware, to name a few, but these threats can also take a human form, such as predators who prey on vulnerable individuals. Now, the computer has become an essential part of our everyday lives, with the present generation actually being raised on the internet and social media, and therefore prevalent online risks should not be overlooked. Therefore, a few steps that we can take in order to protect the safety of our loved ones include number one, utilizing parental control software which monitors internet activity and blocks pages that contain sensitive or unauthorized content. These parental control software can actually relieve a lot of parents and guardians because they combat a lot of the issues associated with using the internet. They offer a variety of services such as filtering the website, which can be accessed online, preventing the sharing of personal information, and also enabling loved ones to monitor internet activity from their respective devices. Therefore, your younger sibling can be using the computer at home, and you don't even have to be home, and you can monitor the websites that they access from your own smartphone. We all know that simply misspelling the name of a website or even accidentally clicking on an advertisement can land you in such uncomfortable situations. So it can be good to put parental software in place. And for 2019, the two highly recommended ones were Custodio and KidLogger. Secondly, you can create a separate account in order to restrict your sibling from accessing your information. Thankfully, the computer system allows you the privilege of creating different user accounts, which can be tailored to suit the needs of every user. So in that case, your mom can have one, your dad can have one, you can have one, and each one can be set up in such a way that it meets your needs. And again, in that case, all of your information wouldn't be on one account, but you can have your separate stuff which you can access at any time. On the Windows 8, Microsoft introduced the concept of a kids account, which ensures safer browsing and allows for the monitoring of online activities. So we can see that they recognize the increasing presence of children online and the variety of risks existing to them. So by creating such an account for your sibling, not only are they a bit safer when exploring the internet, but they are also restricted from accessing your personal accounts such as Facebook and chat rooms, which can be quite dangerous for persons who do not know how to navigate it properly. You can run virus scans frequently since your sibling may not be as educated or experienced on pop-ups. A virus generally can be described as a malicious computer program that replicates itself when executed by attaching copies of itself to other programs. There's this misconception by many individuals where they assume that because their computer system is running without any major issues, they are safe from the harm of viruses. But this misconception or this popular oversight can contribute to great loss of personal data and the compromise of privacy. Viruses, they are so harmful and they have the ability to slow your computer, damage the software, exploit the code of web pages, and it can actually, believe it or not, take over your every aspect of your computer. Therefore, it goes without saying that running virus scans frequently, daily, should be a top priority when operating a computer system. And when it comes to your younger sibling, they may not be as educated on the risk of viruses. So it is important to take the initiative to run these scans for them. Another step that you can take is to install anti-spyware. Spyware may take the form of adware, malware, embedded function and embedded programs, and dialers, among so many others. And similar to viruses, individuals can make spyware for, let's say, money, for profit, for information. Some individuals simply love that satisfaction of controlling a computer, and there are some persons who simply do it just because they can. But in order to avoid these risks, it is necessary to be aware of what you are clicking on. And we all know that pop-ups occur regularly, so it is important to stay away from clicking from those kinds of things on your computer. So a good idea is also to install anti-spyware programs in order to prevent infections and fully remove those that are present already. I must mention that, again, another misconception is these programs must be updated regularly because in order for it to actually protect the computer effectively from the most recent threats, it has to be up to date. Another point is to clean out cookies for your sibling. So cookies are actually small text files that are sent to your computer browser when you open websites. It can carry a range of information from the content you search for to your username and password. They continue to operate in the background of your computer, and it is necessary to clean them out in order to maintain your privacy. Whilst they are very small in size, they can add up over time and occupy quite a large amount of storage on the computer system. So again, it is important when it comes to your sibling, take the initiative to clean out the cookies for them. This next step can be overlooked so frequently, and that is simply educating your sibling on the online safety measures and signs of unwanted behavior. So having an honest conversation about online safety measures and suspicious behavior can actually be more efficient than everything that we talked about above. And this is so because internet predators tend to target younger children, as you mentioned previously in the presentation, and they can try to access them through chat rooms, blogs, and other forums, since it is quite easy to gain their trust. So it is important to speak to your siblings on the do's and don'ts of online activity and just the general computer ethics. In this way, they may be able to identify certain unwanted behaviors that may have gone unnoticed in the past prior to your conversation with them. Lastly, avoid phishing. So phishing is a form of fraud which commonly takes the form of emails which contain malicious links requesting personal information such as, let's say, a bank account information, and it tends to be quite urgent. Studies have shown that it's actually easier to hoax an individual into simply clicking on a harmful link as opposed to attempting to penetrate the computer's defenses. So some things that we can look out for include suspicious URLs, private email addresses rather than corporate ones. That's a big one. and poorly written messages, such as those including grammatical errors. So typically, the best way to avoid phishing is simply by being aware of every single click and by being on the lookout for any suspicious activity. So it is important to note um, it's important to be on the lookout for these red flags in order to protect your sibling. So generally, these are the steps that can be taken in order to protect your younger sibling and your computer system at home.